Hello everyone and welcome to my little video here. Well, it's probably going to be a bit of a long video, but it's just going to be me talking about my pride and joy, my VHS collection. As many of you probably already know, I collect crappy 80s, 90s, obscure, rare, cult videos, VHSs. I love them. I love everything about them. This video is just going to be me talking about a few in my collection. Hopefully I get through quite a lot. With that being said, let's get to it. Yeah! The first thing I've got here is Kill Point. Now, just look at this amazing cover. We've got blood, but it doesn't look like blood at all. It's just obvious that somebody's just sprinkled paint all over here. There's a phone, but where's the thing? Where's the handset? Nobody knows. Gun, just standard sort of kill point stuff. Obviously, somebody was trying to call someone, but they got kill pointed, because that's what happens when violence gets out of control. Apparently, we got the back. When the violence is out of control, that is when you reach the kill point. Yes. So we've got here the star of Shaft, Richard Roundtree. I'm guessing that's him there. And this is funny. They mentioned Cameron Mitchell of My Favorite Year, as if that's meant to be like a really impressive sort of thing to get you to watch this movie, but I have never even heard of that movie. That's pretty hilarious right there. It's in this beautiful old school kind of clear packaging. I love that. I don't make them like that anymore. Well, they don't make them at all anymore. But anyway, that's Kill Point for you. Next, we've got The Annihilators. Now, I love everything about this cover. The fact that it's hand-drawn is just so good. You've got some brawny dudes firing some guns, and you can see them through this like burnt out little window here. That's really badass. Now, I've seen this movie, and I can tell you now that there is no guy in a wicked mask with a crossbow in this movie. So they've obviously just put that guy there because, you know, who cares? Just put some badass dudes on there. Nobody's gonna care if that's canon, if that's in the movie. So in 1972, it was the jungles of Nam. In 1985, it's the streets of America. Different places, same job. So they've obviously gone AWOL, I guess. On the back here, you've got some little snippets of the action in The Annihilators. No time is wasted, it says here. Action from the word go, as a commando unit takes to the streets. Just that kind of... They made so many of these kinds of movies where like a team of soldiers or some kind of badasses have to like use their skills, their deadly skills, to combat in a different sort of area, like in the streets rather than in the Vietnam War. They made a lot of these kind of movies. They're awesome. Okay, what do we got now? We got Young Warriors. Awesome photo. Really, really 80s. Got some amazing light around this guy's head and this girl's hair. The girl's got her eyes closed, but, you know, nobody needs quality control. This is a Canon movie. Canon, I love these guys. Made some of my favorite movies from the 80s. You've got Ernest Borgnine. Awesome. You've got, I don't know who either of these two people are, but on the back, you've got some, again, this is what I was talking about, some badasses. Obviously, they're in the city, but they look like Vietnam War era sort of guys who went insane and have to use their skills. Are they the Young Warriors? I don't know. I haven't actually watched this one yet. But apparently it's a story of rape, revenge, and rampage. The 3 R's. Here's a great one. We've got Full Impact. And this is a Gary Daniels movie. For those who don't know, Gary Daniels was a low-rent, sort of Jean-Claude Van Damme, but British kind of guy. But his movies, especially in the 90s, were some of the absolute sort of worst. Like, if you can imagine a Van Damme movie, but like about 20 times worse. This is one of his absolute nuggets, and I mean that in a good, bad way. It's a very bad movie, but very enjoyably bad. Gary Daniels is dynamite, and Full Impact is the fuse. And you've got some very, very low quality photographs from the movie here. They're obviously all posed. They're not actually from the movie. Yeah, it's worth watching just for how majestic Gary Daniels looks. It was obviously just a vehicle for him. What do we got now? We've got Space Hunter Adventures in the Forbidden Zone. Quite a faded cover, but I think that adds character to it. We've got badly drawn people. That is actually Molly Ringwald, a very young Molly Ringwald. She made this before her John Hughes movies. And we've got Ernie Hudson in this movie as well, of Ghostbusters fame. And Michael Ironside, one of my absolute favorite low-budget movie actors. Michael Ironside. Google him, because he's one of those guys that's, you know his face, but you don't know his name. He's amazing. His stars in this is someone called Overdog, which is an incredible name. Overdog. So on the back you've got Molly in some post-apocalyptic makeup. So this is obviously a post-apocalyptic kind of trash, sort of made just after Mad Max. You've got some guys in some post-apocalyptic bikes, some lasers going pew pew. Awesome, just awesome. Hell Squad. Everything about this is so cheap. The photo they used for this cover, blurry, obviously just a still from the movie. They didn't bother making it any better. But the tagline is, I can't even read it, beneath the glitter, they are a deadly force. So this is one of those kind of, we'll get a bunch of pretty girls together and you just have to suspend your disbelief. They are badass commandos. Nobody famous in this movie. It's just pretty girls. They make a awesome team and they go and do something with guns somewhere. Maybe release some prisoners or get some terrorists or something like that. That's Hell Squad. We've got Demon Stone. Demon Stone. So this cover, nothing special. Sort of badly superimposed photo in front of a graphic. Looks kind of early 90s, but you've got two people in this movie you might have heard of. You've got Jan Michael Vincent, and you've got Ali Ermey of Full Metal Jacket fame. There he is. Didn't really go on to a lot after Full Metal Jacket. Got typecast, sadly. He's a great actor. So there you've got Jan Michael Vincent. You've got Ali Ermey. You've got Barack Obama impaled. It's not really Barack Obama. Looks a bit like him. But yeah, he's screaming in pain because of whatever this is. Probably caused by the Demon Stone. Okay, yes. Snake Eater 3. his lore. This is awesome. This is Lorenzo Lamas. If you haven't heard of him before, again, he's sort of like a low-rent Van Damme kind of guy. Made a lot of low-budget action in the 90s. But what's really awesome about this movie is Bam Bam Bigelow. Yes. The wrestler Bam Bam Bigelow is in this. It was one of his only roles, if not his only role outside of wrestling. But he plays a badass biker in this. I think his name is Goose. Yes, the 400-pound Goose. So yeah, Lorenzo Lamas is some sort of a vigilante, and he goes against bikers. Here we've got Brother from Space. Weird cover. Drawn, hand-drawn. No idea what's going on. Spaceships, some kind of pod. They see him as an enemy, he comes as a friend. So this might be... It's called Brother from Space. I don't think it's like a blaxploitation sort of thing. Yeah, no, I don't believe it is. I actually don't really know much about this movie. It feels very strange. It's G. Weird. So, The Manitou. This is a horror. An 80s sort of gooey kind of... Sort of like a supernatural slasher movie. A mysterious tumor on the neck of a young woman harbors a growing force of evil, the spirit of a 400-year-old witch doctor awaiting reincarnation. See, that just sounds awesome. I have not seen this, but I now want to. The cover's not really anything special. It's just a scary face. Let's move on. But the premise is awesome. Oh my god, this is amazing. Just look at this thing. Final mission. Just everything I love about VHS's. Ridiculously epic, hand-drawn cover. Where do I start? The war is on. Only an army can stop him. That's so cool. I don't even care about what the plot is. Just the cover would make me watch this. I'm sure it's terrible, but it's just so good. I don't even know where to start. Just look at it, and nothing I can say can do this justice. Okay, we've got Panther Squad. Another one of those sort of get a bunch of cute girls together and they'll be a team of some sort. In this case, it's not Hell Squad, it's Panther Squad. So part of the squad craze of the 80s. There they are. They are a Panther Squad, apparently. There's some more members of the Panther Squad. Sybil Danning is the leader, I believe. You might have heard that name before. But yeah, just an excuse to get a bunch of cute girls together and get them to do things. And funny thing here, we've got a little sticker stuck on the tape. Corey Haim, Dream Machine, coming soon. That sounds interesting. The Night Stalker. Yes. So this cover is a very posed photo of a emotionless man torturing a poor helpless lady. This movie stars Robert Z'Dar. Now, if you haven't heard of him before, he is amazing. He's an actor with a really huge face. Google him and you will see what I mean, but he's very well known to act in horrendous movies. He passed away recently, unfortunately. Rest in peace, Robert Z'Dar. I believe this was one of his very first films. Continuing with our sort of theme of squads and badasses, we've got the Destroyers. We tear towns apart. Something wars in your own backyard. Yes, so another one of those kind of, let's get a group of badass people together and let them loose in a urban setting and film the results. So action. Very poor quality action. But the video is packaged amazingly. I love these sort of see-through covers. Wheels of Fire. Again, I love this. It's just so pure and trashy. Hand-drawn, badass dude, gun, spiky cars. This is an Italian post-apocalyptic exploitation sort of thing. I love that genre. Directed by Sirio H. Santiago, who directed quite a few of these sort of post-apocalyptic Mad Max sort of rip-offs. This is one hero we do need. Awesome. Just awesome. Badass font. Knights. So this is actually a pretty fun movie with some pretty well-known B-movie actor names in here. So we've got Chris Christopherson of Blade fame. I believe he plays Whistler in the Blade movies. He's also a famous country music singer. We've got Lance Henriksen, one of my all-time favorite badasses. Amazing guy. Kathy Long, who is a female kickboxing champion, so tried to sort of kickstart a career in movies, similar to sort of Van Damme, that sort of thing. And we've got Gary Daniels in this movie as well, somewhere. Directed by Albert Piyun, who is one of my favorite bad movie directors. Moonshine County Express. I have no idea what this movie is about, but you've got John Saxon in this. He was in Enter the Dragon, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Some sort of moonshine bootlegging romp kind of action comedy, I guess. Yeah, let's move on. The Vindicator. So this kind of represents that kind of bad movie boom period in the early to mid 90s when there was a bunch of stuff that was getting influences. Well, when I say influences, they were ripping off a lot of aspects of movies like Terminator, RoboCop, Aliens, that sort of thing, and just sort of mashing them all together. And this is part of that kind of craze. First thing is, that font is incredible. Just, oh my god, such a good font. So this, I'm guessing that's the Vindicator coming out of the smoke. We've got some nice lens flares there for added measure. The Vindicator with some fire behind him. He's on the streets and out of control, apparently. So, his codename Project Frankenstein. So they've obviously brought him back from the dead, sort of like RoboCop. Cyber Tracker. So I recently cleaned out a local video store of movies with the word cyber in the title, and this was one of them. Is that's just a surefire way that you're gonna get some trash, is if it has cyber in it. So they're usually mid-90s something to do with the internet when the internet was still scary. Robots. You got a robot with its face coming off there. You got a robot with a burning stomach there. And I believe that's the Cyber Tracker there. Night Force. So again, another team of people brought together for some purpose, and they're badasses. I do love this cover though. It's got Linda Blair in it of Exorcist fame, and we've got Richard Lynch, quite a famous sort of bad movie actor. He's been in a lot of things, Star Trek, lots of things. Oops. So we got a bunch of stuff happening on the back. A terrorist's own nightmare. Some explosions going off with a man on a horse and people shooting a bazooka. Parents. This is actually not that bad a movie. It's it's a black comedy horror, but a boy who discovers that his parents are cannibals. It stars Randy Quaid, who's insane these days, and it's directed by Bob Balaban, of all people. So a little bit out of the norm from what we've been looking at so far. Savage Streets. Again, we've got Linda Blair. She went on to not really do a lot of mainstream stuff after The Exorcist. She couldn't really break out of that role, so she kept acting in these sort of badass gang movies. I believe this is a revenge flick. Yeah. Really good cover, really good font, by the way. Trick or Treat. Don't know really much about this one. I think it's something to do with hair metal. We've got some boobs on the back. Just boobs. Uncensored. May as well. Something to do with a rock and roll guy coming back from the dead and terrorizing people. Something like that. Knight and Warrior. This is one of those sort of Filipino cut together. I believe they're directed by Godfrey Ho, if I'm not mistaken. So he's a very prolific director of maybe Hong Kong. It's a Hong Kong movie cut together from other movies to make something barely cohesive. You should definitely check out some of Godfrey Ho's movies because they are insane. It's so hard to know what's going on. But yeah, this is one of them. Edge of the Axe. Very kind of meh cover. I don't even know what is happening. You got an axe, I think. I don't know what anything else here is, but I think it's a slasher movie. Yes it is. Solar Warriors. Great font. Awesome, I'll say that. I believe this movie is also called Solar Babies in other places. I believe in America it might be called Solar Babies. Don't really know what it's about. I imagine it's about a team of warriors with solar powers. Zone Troopers. So this is... oh my god. It looks like it was drawn in crayon, this cover. or at least traced. I mean, look at it. It's so cheap. This, I believe, has something to do with soldiers in World War II encountering aliens? I don't know. But I just love the fact that this cover looks like somebody traced it and colored it in, or something. A small town in Texas. This is a roadshow home video. These apparently are pretty rare and maybe fairly valuable, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not too sure what this one is about. Probably about a small town in Texas. That's just a guess. But there you go. Not much else to say. The Zero Boys. So this is apparently a special video event. I'm sure it is. You've got, again, a team of people with guns doing something. Yeah, doesn't really set it apart from any of the other team-based action movies that we've looked at so far. But there you go, the Zero Boys. Space Raiders. Okay, what does this remind you of? Yeah, so this was made maybe a couple of years after the release of another more famous space movie. And this is very obviously trying to tap into that sort of craze. Not much else to say really, but some funny looking alien dudes there. Saturn for some reason. Warning sign. So a radiation or biology themed horror / thriller. Something's gone wrong. Yeah, something to do with medical facilities or science. I'm sure you've seen these sort of movies before. Warning sign. Now this is a cool one. Nightmare City. With a badass guy on the front. Again, you just don't really know what it's about just looking at the cover, but that just makes it all the more awesome to me. You just want to see this guy kick butt in the movie, probably. There he is again. He's threatening someone there with a gun. There he's been put in jail. Probably in the Nightmare City jail. Yeah. Awesome. Future Zone. So this was directed by David A. Pryor, who, if you've ever seen a movie called Deadly Prey, it is one of the most incredibly bad / entertaining movies I have ever seen. And this is one of his sort of movies that he made shortly after Deadly Prey. Somehow he got David Carradine, although around that sort of time in the late 80s, early 90s, Carradine didn't really care what he was acting in. He just took pretty much every single role. Usually they were these sort of bad action, sci-fi, kung fu kind of movies. I'm going to leave it with this one. Suburban Commando. We've got the Hulkster, Hulk Hogan. We've got Christopher Lloyd from Back to the Future. This was part of the Hulkster's early 90s foray into Hollywood, which didn't really work out that well for him, as he soon went back to wrestling. This is a spectacularly bad movie. Although not his worst, I have to say. Santa with Muscles is worse. So with that, I'm going to leave it for now. It's been 30 minutes. And please join me, won't you, for future installments, because there is still so much left to get through. I'm Art. See ya.